Good afternoon. Hope everyone's doing well. My name is David Acheson. I am the Senior Vice President for the commercial business for Apellis, based in just outside of Boston in Waltham, Massachusetts. Unfortunately, Federico Grossi couldn't be here. He had a personal emergency last night, so I'm stepping in, and I'm going to walk us through our Derby and Oaks data up to this point with the data readout that we had about a month ago. So first of all, I'd like to thank also ASRS for having us here. These are our forward-looking statements. I want to make sure that we went through that. Also our disclosures that we may have as well. But we also, for those of you that don't know much about Apellis, we are a groundbreaking organization that is working to be a global leader in complement. Our main focus here today is to really talk about the Derby Oaks trial and the work that we've done for geographic atrophy. We do have a full portfolio of products that we're working through as well, and we've launched a first product in PNH that is also seen on this chart at the top, which was launched about 4 months ago as a head-to-head study with the market leader, which was a C5, which was Solaris, which was Alexion's product. So we feel very good about the molecule and excited about our opportunities moving forward. Today, we're going to spend our time on Derby and Oaks, so let's transition to the studies themselves. As you know, these are two phase 3 studies that were large phase 3 studies, intravitreal pegcetacoplan in patients with GA. What we have now is these are two-year studies, and at 1 year, which the 12 months has just passed through, our primary endpoint readout was read out about a month ago, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. The study was set up with the two studies were set up with 1,258 subjects in the studies with about 200 sites. Multinationally that were across multiple countries. In the first arm for pegcetacoplan monthly, we had about 200 patients. The same for every other month, we had 200 patients. And then of course in the sham arm for each study, we had about 200 patients. Primary endpoint is the change in total area of the GA lesion as far as size based on fundus autofluorescence at the 12-month mark, which is also an FDA acceptance in regards to the work that we can do to supply them with an NDA moving forward. Oaks showed statistically significant reductions in GA lesion growth compared to sham. You'll see that we had a 22% reduction in the monthly arm for pegcetacoplan and a 16% in the every other month with a 0.0052 versus sham for every other month and 0.0003 p-value for the monthly. Now, the Derby study did not meet the primary endpoint, but we still have a reduction in the lesion size. At 12% monthly, we had a reduction, at monthly we had a 12% reduction, and we also had this is where we narrowly missed on the p-value at 0.0528. We also had, in every other month, we had 11% reduction, with a p-value of 0.075. When you look at the combined data between Derby and Oaks, and this is just Derby and Oaks, I actually had a question before we got into the session this afternoon if this includes Philly as well, which it does not. This is just the Derby and Oaks combined data. We had a 17% reduction in lesion size at monthly dosing and 14% for every other month. So pegcetacoplan reduced GA lesion growth in analysis of the study eye versus the untreated fellow eye, which is very important to the work that we wanted to show today. In the monthly, we saw a 16% slower growth versus the fellow eye with pegcetacoplan. With pegcetacoplan every other month, we saw 11% slower growth versus the fellow eye. And in the sham pooled, we actually saw a 4% faster growth versus the fellow untreated eye. We also saw a reduction in GA lesion growth in patients with extrafoveal lesions, which obviously, as we talked about this morning as well, are those patients that are fast progressors. We saw a significant number here at 20% in the monthly, 26% reduction in the monthly arm, and we saw a 23% in the every other month arm with a 0.0002 versus sham, and in the monthly 0.0001 p-value. I'm not going to talk a lot about the data in regards to safety. We feel good about the safety data, and all of these parameters meet the standards that we're looking for in regards to submission to the FDA. There will be a deep dive on Monday in regards to both our efficacy as well as the safety for pegcetacoplan in the Derby and Oak studies. So we are a global company or global leader in complement, and we're working to be #1 in retina. We plan to submit next year for our first NDA, for the first NDA submission for GA in 22. Continue to support GA commercialization. We're building that team currently as we speak. We've got detailed results and medical meetings from now through next year. We're going to initiate pivotal intermediate AMD studies in 22, and we're going to submit for additional INDs across our portfolio with pegcetacoplan. I look forward to catching up with everybody on a break. If you have any questions, thank you very much.